I expected Halo Infinite to be good. Great even. What I didn't expect was for the campaign to have the best mechanics of a first-person shooter game since Titanfall 2. It's seriously that good. Watch to the end of this video for an awesome Halo Infinite secret that's definitely going to put a smile on your face. Halo combat's always been incredible. That sort of ballet between plasma weapons to break shields, ballistic weapons to damage health, grenades to stick powerful enemies has always made for like thrilling encounters that never seem to get old. But Infinite takes it to another level through 3 key features. First of all, the AI is incredible, not just in what it does. Like, Halo's always been great at having different enemy types that behave in different ways. Like, you know, elites will be tactical and use stealth and cover. Grunts attack kind of mindlessly a little bit until you take out their leaders, then they start to panic and flail around. Brutes get angry and aggressive the more damage you do, rushing in a fit of rage. That's all still in there, but it's kind of kicked up a notch. So sometimes I'll find grunts hiding at the end of a battle where they're just kind of hoping I don't notice that they're there. Sometimes you'll see elites going invisible and kind of hanging back, letting other enemies attack you first until you move up to collect something, and then they'll attack you with the plasma sword. In Halo Infinite, the sort of difficulty the game's been balanced around is normal rather than heroic, which it was before. And it really does feel like on normal, like the enemies are challenging on normal, which is a lot of fun. And it's not unfair, it's not like you're going to be dying all of the time, but sometimes they'll do stuff and you think, ah, that's pretty clever. But the other side to the AI is the voice lines. They choose to say things all of the time that are kind of directly relevant to what's going on in the fight.
Hey, Spartan, I got something for you. It's there goes a grenade. Grenade time.
And I really enjoy that. Like, this has been making me laugh loads while I've been playing. And it's a sheer joy. Like, it makes the fights much less repetitive because I'm not hearing the same voice lines over and over again. And again, the different enemies, the different types of creatures behave in slightly different ways. They talk about different things. So the grunts are probably the most funny things. Like, you'll hear them before a fight if you manage to sneak near them. Sometimes they'll be full of bravado, talking about how they're definitely going to take down the demon. And other times they'll be like confused and asking each other what they're even doing there. And then in a fight, you'll hear them kind of with a bit of confidence when there's elites nearby, but then they lose that once the elites down and they start just wildly panicking. Sometimes you'll hear brutes mocking the jackals and elites, especially when they get killed, just sort of showing the lack of respect they have for the rest of the Banished. It adds so much immersion to the fights and has really been something that I'm surprised they didn't talk about more pre-release, because it really is like on a whole different level from what they did in previous Halo games. Then there's the new ways to attack enemies in combat. You've still got that huge range of guns and now grenades as well. There's a bunch of different types of grenades. But now there's fusion coils, those kind of explosive canisters that you would have seen in multiplayer already. They don't sound terribly interesting, and in all the videos pre-release, I didn't think they looked that interesting. But just wait until the first time, use a grappling hook to pull one towards you, and then just yeet it at a group of brutes and take them all out. It's so satisfying to do, and they're all over the place. You get to use them all the time. Sometimes you'll see big piles of them near a group of enemies, so you can kind of snipe them and take out the enemies nearby. Sometimes you'll sort of like be sneaking through somewhere and then grab one in a corridor, ready for the next fight in anticipation of it. Loads of times in fights, I just don't have time to reload, so I'll grab a fusion coil instead and use that to carry on the fight. Even in the kind of boss arenas, they're littered all over the place because they've seen, okay, this is a fun way to attack powerful enemies. It's amazing how they've just become a sort of vital part of the combat kit for Halo already. Like, in all of the pre-game advertising and stuff like that, they talked about the fusion coils a lot, they showed them off a lot, it was in that very first trailer, and obviously they knew how much fun they were, but I wasn't sold on it at all. I thought they were hyping them up too much, it didn't sound like a great feature, but it really is. It's like, I can't imagine a Halo game without them now. They're so good. Finally, there's the movement. Halo's always had a strange relationship with other first-person shooter games in terms of movement. It's always felt a little bit slow, a little bit floaty, because you've got the Mjolnir armor, you're like Master Chief, you're this huge Spartan, and every Halo game feels like it's tried to reinvent the wheel a little bit when it comes to movement. So sometimes they've added abilities that help you move in different ways. Sometimes they've like added sprint, or taken away sprint, or things like that, changed jump heights. Infinite's no different. They've tried to reinvent the wheel again, but this time they've given us the grappling hook, and it is so beautiful. From the very start, the game focuses on the grappling hook as a big new feature. Like in the opening cutscenes, it's always there, you always see it. They show it so many times in the first couple of missions, there's like little prompts telling you to use it. In the marketing before launch, again, I was a bit skeptical of how much they were hyping it up, but it completely changes the game. At first, you just kind of use it to cross gaps and then sometimes grab those canisters. Then you realise in every level, there's kind of places where you can climb over scenery and get out of or into fights really, really quickly. Then you'll start using it to grapple to enemies to close in for a quick melee. It's so satisfying when like you see an elite shields break, and then you can grapple towards them just to finish them off with a melee. Jackals have always in Halo needed to have their shields removed, you know, they have those big circular shields, and before you had to do it by carefully shooting around them or using plasma weapons or something like that. Now you just smack them with the grappling hook, that lifts their shield out of the way, and then you can shoot them in the head to kill them. By the time you get out into the open world of Zeta Halo, you know exactly what to do with the grappling hook. You'll climb on everything, you'll be swinging around because it's got that kind of momentum physics in the grappling hook, which works really well. You can use it to speed you up as you cross the terrain. More often than not, I found myself kind of ignoring vehicles on Zeta Halo because the grappling hook's just more fun to get around, and you can go surprisingly quickly using the trees and things like that. Once you throw a few of the upgrade points into it, I think you need 3 of them to get the cooldown reduced by 40%. And then you can use it to climb basically anything, because you can use it to throw yourself up in the air. And then before you get back down to where you were when you started, you can use it again, which means you can just keep on climbing indefinitely. Enemy vehicles, no longer a problem, you just grapple on them and then you can hijack them straight away. It completely changes the movement and the combat and it feels amazing. I'd say it's even better than Titanfall 2's grappling hook, and I mean that's something coming from me, I love Titanfall 2. I'm only a few hours into the campaign, but I'm in awe of it so far. It's got that core Halo gameplay and music and feel and story, but it's in a completely new type of environment. Like Zeta Halo genuinely feels different, and having that open world structure, again, feels very, very different in a good way. Like I think it works. There's always something to do, there's something to explore. There's things that I don't like about it, like I don't like the fact that you can't repeat missions, so some of the collectibles are missable. That's kind of annoying. Some of the collectibles are incredibly hard to find, not even just the skulls, but beyond that I'm just having an absolute blast with it. I'd say in terms of gameplay, it's my favourite Halo game at the moment. Like, I just think they've really refined what makes Halo so special and improved on it in so many ways. Now, to reward you for watching all the way to the end, because I do love it when people watch all the way through my videos, here's one of my favourite secrets I've seen so far. Once you get into the open world, you're tasked with assaulting this massive tower. Head onto the roof of it, using that grappling hook, you'll have a lot of fun climbing up, and you'll see a fun little tribute and that I would have been your daddy's skull that adds even more crazy voice lines to the game. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.